Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to explain the topic metacognition in reading. First, we must know what is metacognition. Metacognition is the awareness and understanding of one's own thinking and learning processes. It is often described as thinking about one's thinking. If applied to reading, it can help us to gain control over our comprehension. Metacognition basically is of three types: metacognitive knowledge, metacognitive regulation, and metacognitive experiences. Metacognitive knowledge refers to what learners know about their own thinking and learning strategies. It is further divided into three types: declarative knowledge, procedural knowledge, and conditional knowledge. Declarative knowledge means knowledge about what? That is, knowledge about oneself as a learner, awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses, and knowledge about different strategies. Procedural knowledge is knowledge about how. That is, knowledge of how to use different learning strategies, knowing how to apply techniques such as summarizing or note making. And conditional knowledge is the knowledge about when and why. That is, knowing when and why to use a particular strategy, understanding the suitability of strategies in different situations. Now, metacognitive regulation refers to the ability to control and manage one's learning process. It includes planning, monitoring, and evaluation. Planning includes setting goals, choosing appropriate strategies, and allocating time. Monitoring includes checking understanding during the task, identifying confusion. Evaluating includes reviewing the performance after completing the task and assessing the effectiveness of the strategies used. Metacognitive experiences are the thoughts, feelings, and judgments that occur during or after a learning task, which make a person aware of his or her own thinking and understanding. They are the internal experiences we have about our learning process while performing a task. Metacognitive experiences help learners to recognize problems in understanding. They guide them to adjust strategies, improve regulation, self regulation, and enhance learning effectiveness. Now we come to metacognition in reading. Metacognition in reading refers to a reader's awareness and control of his or her own thinking process while reading. It involves planning how to read, monitoring understanding during reading, and evaluating comprehension after reading. In simple terms, it means being aware of how you are reading and understanding a text and making adjustments when needed. Now, metacognition in reading is highly important because it helps to improve comprehension, it promotes active learning, it helps in selection of proper strategy, builds higher order thinking skills, develops a deeper understanding of the text. Consequently, it builds confidence, increases academic performance, develops independent learners, and enhances problem solving skills. Now we come to the key processes in metacognitive reading. Metacognitive reading involves being aware of and controlling one's thinking while reading. It mainly consists of three key processes, that is, planning, monitoring, and evaluating. The first one is planning. It comes before reading. Planning refers to preparing oneself before beginning to read. It includes setting a clear purpose for reading, previewing the text, the title, the headings, the subheadings, pictures, etc., activating prior knowledge about the topic, selecting appropriate reading strategies. Monitoring is done during reading. It involves checking one's understanding while reading. It includes asking oneself whether the text is understood, identifying confusing words or ideas, adjusting reading speed, rereading difficult sections, using strategies like summarizing or questioning. Evaluating refers to reflecting on comprehension after completing the reading. It includes assessing whether the reading purpose has been achieved, summarizing the key ideas, and uh, knowing and evaluating and assessing the strategies that have been used while reading the text and reflecting on one's understanding of the text. Now we come to the classroom activities that help to enhance metacognition while reading. The first one is think aloud strategy. That is, here the teacher models how to think while reading by verbalizing thoughts such as, I don't understand this sentence, I will reread it. This reminds me of this. So, this is basically followed by the students who also practice thinking aloud, and this helps them to become aware of their reading process. Self questioning technique encourages students to ask themselves, do I understand this paragraph? What is the main idea of this text? Should I reread this part? Self questioning strengthens monitoring ability. Next, reading logs or journals. These mainly are the journals where the students record the difficult parts of the text, strategies used to understand the text, and reflections after reading the text. This develops evaluation skills. KWL charts, that is, know, want to know, and learned. The students basically fill in these KWL charts wherein they note down what they already know, what they want to know, and what they have learned after having read the text. So, this helps them to determine whether they have been able to achieve the objectives that they had set before reading. Now, peer discussion is the discussion that takes place among the students based on how they understood the text, what strategies worked best, and they help to build awareness of different approaches that they have used. Summarizing activities basically include making a brief summary of the text, identifying the main idea, creating a concept map, etc. This checks comprehension and reflection. Finally, reflection sheets. These are done after, these sheets are filled up by the students after reading, wherein they note down what helped them to understand the text or what difficulties did they face, what are they supposed to do the next time that they read while reading so that they can overcome the difficulties that they face this time. So, these are some of the classroom activities that can help to develop or enhance metacognition while reading. Thank you.